Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about how much money you need to start day trading. Emerson, thank you very much for the question. For all of you guys that want me to answer any questions, just mark them with hashtag Ask Marcello. I'll be happy to go ahead and get the questions and answer them for you. I love sharing almost 17 years now of experience in the financial markets. I'm still young, started right after high school, in high school. So Emerson, you're from Brazil. Você sabe que eu falo pouquinho português. Tem também cursinho. Tudo em português. For all of you guys, Emerson's apparently from Brazil. The question is,
de quanto dinheiro você precisa para começar no day trade?
I'm going to expand on the question a little bit, Emerson. I'm going to talk a little bit, obviously, about the futures market, which is what we specialize in. In my humble opinion and my experience, I recommend futures and stocks, even though futures you can make a lot more money with less. Obviously, there's advantages and disadvantages to that, which I'll cover here in the video as well. And I'll also give you a bit of information for all of you guys that are watching to know how much money you need, literally minimum. So as Emerson was saying in the question, he said, obviously, PC, internet, MetaTrader, brokers. So if you guys are going to start day trading in general, you're going to need, obviously, a computer. There is a fallacy out there. There's I think the mentality of what people think is needed to be able to learn how to day trade is that you need 20,000 monitors with the latest NASA invented computer with all this kind of horsepower. For example, this thing is a gaming computer that you don't need. So the minimum, I've done videos if you guys want to look it up, the best computers for traders and what you need for that. I'll just spell it out for you really quickly. You need minimum, I would say, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Everything else, the processor, the size, the hard drive space or size, the video card, all that stuff doesn't matter. Traders, when they trade, don't really use a lot of, let's say, computer-intensive equipment like a platform more than anything. And so you don't really need a lot of horsepower, right? So I would recommend a minimum of 15 inches in size, and other than that, everything else doesn't matter. Excuse me, just make sure that you guys have a minimum of, I would say, about 8 gigabytes of RAM. You can get away with 6, but if you're using Windows 10, I would recommend probably 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So that's the first thing. That should cost you maybe $400, $300, $500. Other than that, when you're going to start practicing, you obviously need internet. I think the majority of you in the United States are able to find a decent enough internet connection. You don't need to have the fastest internet in the world. Minimum 1 gigabyte download, or I think it's 1 megabyte download. Minimum 0.5 upload. So you guys can do a speed test. Make sure you guys have that. I think most of you guys in kind of the more industrialized countries, London, England, all of the US speaking, Australia, US, Canada, you guys should be fine. Those of you guys that are in India or Philippines, just make sure that you guys have a minimum 1 download and then 0.5 upload. Then other than that, you're going to need an account to trade with, right? So if you're going to do a demo account, I personally recommend stocks or futures. Most brokers or most platforms nowadays offer free demos. So there might be limits to the demos depending on what market you trade in or depending on what market you're going to trade out of. For example, a broker out of London or Spain or United States. Most of you guys don't work with Spain since you are US based, but most people offer free demos. So you don't have to worry about that either, Emerson. Now, once you get to the point where you're consistently profitable in the futures market, since now, I'm gonna dive into futures instead of the more general trading, since you asked me specifically about futures, Emerson, the majority of platforms that you're going to use on the future side generally cost money. There are some now that are free, but honestly, in my opinion, a lot of them that are free aren't really worth it. So I would recommend a few. We are actually developing our own platform, which is going to be free. And one of the things that we're going to be doing as well with a lot of our students is that you're going to be able to apply to get funded. So generally, you're going to need, obviously, the computer, which we just talked about, your internet connection, and then you're going to be able to practice for free, which is simulation or demo, what you guys call in Forex, right? Then after that, you're going to need the money to be able to trade with. So obviously, you're going to need the platform, which historically has costed about $1,000, and then you're also going to need to open up an account under your name to be able to trade with. If you're going to trade with your own money, then you're going to need a minimum of about $1,000 for futures. Forex obviously is going to be a lot less. Generally, it's what, 10 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks. I would not recommend binary options for anyone. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about Forex because I don't think it's for a beginner. I think it's more for a professional. And so other than that, you're going to need to have, just to kind of recap, $1,000 for minimum account balance to trade with in futures. And then you're going to need generally a platform, which historically has costed about $1,000 lifetime. Now, we are going to be, let's say we're going to be developing our own platform and then a process for you to get funded. And so now, Emerson, whether most of the traders we're going to give deals to that train at Day Trading Academy, but now instead of having to have historically $2,000 to be able to trade with, $1,000 for your own money, $1,000 for the platform, historically, now you're only going to be able to start with $120. So you being from Brazil, obviously you guys in Brazil don't have as much capital as most of us in other countries. The idea with this is that you're going to be able to apply to get funded with us. It's going to start at about $120. And then you're going to be able to, if you pass the test, use our platform for free. And you're also going to be able to trade with upwards of a minimum of $25,000. So now what we're trying to do with this, Emerson, is we're trying to lower the barriers to entry because we are trying to make sure that you guys are going to be able to trade. Because obviously, historically, I have also tried, I've been saying historically a lot, haven't I? It's a new fancy word I learned. I've always tried to kind of fund traders, right? I've sacrificed my trading a lot to be able to make sure that other people learn. And obviously on the back side, continuing to benefit obviously from it. The idea is to be able to fund traders. We're going to be one of the only academy to do so. So if you're going to trade on your own, you're going to need that $1,000 to open up the account, $1,000 to trade with, $1,000 for your own account to trade with, and then $1,000 for the platform. Other than that, Emerson, I would say that there's no other costs involved. I want to reiterate that trading isn't easy. I think most of us think that we're going to buy some course on Saturday and Monday we're going to literally start making $1 million, which is not the way that it works. However fast you think you're going to learn how to day trade, it's going to take you 2 or 3 times longer than that. I always want to make sure that I point that out to you guys. But other than that, definitely recommend futures over Forex, Emerson. You know, I did a video which a lot of people were mad at about how you can't make money in Forex. It's a market that's really manipulated. It's a market that is mostly dominated by institutions, you know, George Soros, central banks, institutions, hedge funds. And in my opinion, it's not a market for beginners. Now, once you learn how to trade, which in the markets that I recommend are stocks or futures, then if you want to switch over to Forex since you can make money, go ahead, be my guest. But there's other markets, in my opinion, that are a lot better. So I'm really glad to hear that you are considering moving over to futures because sincerely, I really do believe that it's the best market to trade on. Obviously, in full disclosure, that's the market that I teach on. But I also do recommend stocks, which we don't, quote unquote, teach. So that's the question for today, guys. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Don't forget to leave it with hashtag #AskMarcello, and I'll be happy to go ahead and answer all your questions. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.